Kristen Atchison here. We're going to continue our discussion of Chapter 11 about motivation. So, as a reminder, motivation is a need or a desire that energizes behavior and directs us towards a goal. One way that we can really look at this is the difference between intrinsic motivation, I did it because I wanted to, and extrinsic motivation. I love learning, but I wanted the diploma. Intrinsic motivation is the desire to engage in these tasks because they feel good, they're enjoyable, they're satisfying, they're new. It makes you feel good about it. You're doing it for its own sake. You're not doing it to get something. You're doing it because something inside of you feels better. You like to do it. It's enjoyable. It's coming from internal kinds of goals and desires. Where extrinsic motivation is coming from external factors, such as behavior, rewards, consequences, social expectations, those sorts of things. And a lot of times goals and activities can have a mixture of both intrinsic and extrinsic activities. I love teaching. I do. I love it very, very much. And I do it primarily for intrinsic goals. But have they offered to pay me absolutely nothing? I really like doing it, and I don't mind being paid very low, but if it was absolutely zero, I don't know. So again, there's this interaction between both my intrinsic, I really enjoy teaching. For me, I need that cognitive outlet. I need to talk about these ideas. It makes me happier when I work and when I teach. It makes me a better mom for my kid. These intrinsic things that just make me better and make me happier and make me feel good versus these extrinsic motivations of, but I still like that paycheck. So again, these two things play a role in our motivations to do things. Let's talk about the different kinds of motivational concepts that the chapter talks about. We're going to talk about instincts, we're going to talk about drives, and we're going to talk about a hierarchy of motives. So instincts are this complex behavior, and they're really kind of a fixed pattern, and they're different throughout species. So instincts are not learned. These are going to be more innate, and we all have them. So we need to, and they're again driven by they're driven by needs. So instinct theory, certain behaviors are innate and due to evolutionary programming. The desire to reproduce would be an example of that. Okay, so sex, the wanting to kind of continue the species has a lot of evolutionary benefit to it. We talked in class about the need to be with other people. That is going to be an instinct to kind of be socially engaged with other people, to have social bonds. So again, these are instincts and they have these evolutionary benefits to them, and they're inborn. Drives are physiological needs, and this need creates a tension state or a drive that motivates that organism to satisfy the need. So the need, you're hungry, you're thirsty, that need for food and water is the need. That need for that creates a tension. That feeling thirsty, your dry mouth is that tension. Feeling parched, that rumbly stomach is that drive, that tension, that hunger. And so we engage in drive reducing behaviors. We go get something to drink, we eat, because we want to get back to a state of kind of equilibrium where we feel comfortable with that drive. That state of tension is diminished and we feel comfortable again. The third one is the hierarchy of motives. And this was proposed by Abraham Maslow, and it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And what he said is that certain needs have priorities over other needs. Here's his hierarchy of needs. And again, this is in the Launchpad activities as well, that you can play with and kind of interact with this concept so you can really get the order of these things. And what Maslow said is that the bottom of this pyramid are your basic needs. And you can't do anything higher up on the pyramid until you get the bottom done. So we can't look at safety or belongingness or esteem or self-actualization if you're hungry and thirsty. That we have to fulfill these basic physiological needs first And then we can move up. So once hunger and thirst are satisfied, then we can start to worry about safety, organization, security, stability. Once that is met, we can move up to belongingness and love, and feeling accepted and avoiding loneliness and alienation. That again, we need to fulfill these first two before we can move up. We can't address anything about our needs for self-esteem and achievement and competence if you're hungry and you're thirsty and you are alone. Okay, so we can't even think about these other things, Maslow would say, and we can't even worry about them. They're not even needs that are on our radar until we get these lower needs, these more basic needs met. And we can't really even think about living up to one's fullest potential, and having kind of these goals and these kind of self-actualization until these lower, more basic needs are met. So again, that it's this pyramid, and you can't start at the top. You have to start at the bottom, and you have to get all the pieces on before you can do the top of the pyramid. And again, there's a launchpad activity that I encourage you to do that helps kind of organize these ideas and helps you understand them. There's two theories about motivation that we're going to talk about, one of which is arousal theory. And this is the view that people are motivated to maintain a level of arousal that's optimal. It's not too high, it's not too low, that you feel comfortable. If your arousal is too high, if you're really keyed up, that makes you feel anxious and nervous and jumpy. Whereas if your arousal is too low and you're lethargic, that's uncomfortable too. So what arousal theory is saying is that we want to be in this middle range. We want to do something. We want to be in this middle range so we feel comfortable. So if we have low arousal, we feel bored, and we want to do something. We want to go do something. We want to see something. Whereas if we have high arousal, we're overstimulated, we want to calm ourselves down. So again, it's about trying to stay in this middle ground, not too high, not too low. We want to stay in this nice, comfortable range of arousal.